It was a quiet, crisp morning in the small town of Maple Ridge, nestled in the rolling hills of the countryside. The sun had just begun to peek over the horizon, casting a soft glow on the weathered barn of a struggling farmer, Jack. His life was simple, yet filled with challenges. Every day, he fought against the unpredictable weather, the rising costs of crops, and the overwhelming weight of responsibility. His farm was his legacy, passed down through generations. But now it seemed like the land was slipping through his fingers. Jack had always been a man of few words, keeping to himself most of the time. His neighbors knew him as someone who worked tirelessly, always helping out when needed, but never asking for help in return. He was a stoic, proud man who believed that hard work could overcome any obstacle. But even the strongest men have their breaking point, and Jack had reached his one fateful afternoon. As he was fixing a broken fence near the edge of his farm, he noticed a woman standing at the end of his property. She was dressed in business attire, carrying a leather briefcase, clearly out of place in the rural setting. Jack, curious but cautious, walked toward her. "Can I help you?" he asked, wiping his brow. The woman introduced herself as Emma, a local real estate agent. She explained that she was in the area, trying to assess properties for a potential client looking to buy farmland. Jack, weary from the endless struggle, couldn't help but feel a little defeated. He knew what this visit likely meant, the inevitable reality of his farm being sold. It had crossed his mind more than once, but he pushed the thought away each time as they spoke. Emma noticed how run down the farm was. The fences were falling apart, the barn needed repairs, and the crops were sparse. She could see the wariness in Jack's eyes, the same look that many farmers had when their livelihoods were being threatened by forces beyond their control. But there was something more in his eyes too, a deep love for the land. A bond that couldn't be broken easily. Emma, sensing Jack's despair, asked if there was anything she could do to help. Jack was taken aback by her kindness. He had no idea that someone who seemed so far removed from his world could offer any kind of help. He simply shook his head, not knowing what to say. He'd already made peace with the fact that his farm was no longer sustainable. Emma wasn't ready to give up on him, though. She asked Jack about his dreams, about why he had chosen this life in the first place. Jack hesitated at first, but then he began to talk about his father and grandfather, the men who had built this farm from nothing. He spoke of the long days spent tending to the fields, of the satisfaction that came from growing something with his own two hands. As he spoke, something inside him stirred, a flicker of hope he hadn't felt in years. Emma listened carefully, then made him an unexpected offer. She knew a group of investors who were looking to help struggling farmers like Jack, people who had the land but not the resources to keep it. She offered to connect him with them, to help him get the funding and support he needed to turn his farm around. It wasn't a guarantee, but it was a lifeline, something Jack hadn't had in a long time. For the first time in years, Jack felt a surge of hope. He agreed to meet with the investors, not sure what would come of it, but willing to try. Over the next few weeks, Emma helped him navigate the process. She was there every step of the way, offering encouragement when things seemed bleak, and helping him see the possibilities when all he could see were roadblocks. Then came the day when the investors agreed to partner with Jack. They didn't just offer him a loan. They gave him a chance to restore the farm to its former glory. With the financial backing, Jack was able to repair the barn, fix the fences, and, most importantly, plant crops that would thrive. The land, which had seemed barren, was now alive with potential. Jack couldn't believe it. He had been ready to give up, but Emma's belief in him had sparked something he thought was lost forever. She had seen the value in him and his farm when he couldn't, and that, more than anything, changed his life. Months passed, and Jack's farm flourished. He worked harder than ever, but now he had a team, resources, and a sense of purpose that he hadn't felt in years. His bond with the land was stronger than ever, and he knew he owed it all to Emma's kindness and unwavering faith in him as he stood in the middle of his field. Looking out over the crops that were now thriving, Jack thought about how close he had come to losing everything. But Emma had shown him that, sometimes, all it takes is one person to believe in you when you can't believe in yourself. That one act of kindness had not only saved his farm but had also reminded him of the power of hope, resilience, and community. Jack may have been the one working the land, but it was Emma's belief in him that had planted the seed for his future, and that seed had grown into something stronger than either of them could have imagined.